just went live, and now I feel like I might sneeze. How awkward. Anyway, hi guys. So recent video I did was taken down. My video from last week where I was live, and the first part of it I was playing a compilation video of different cases of pit bull attacks. And there was a clip in it from, what's her name? Judge Judy. Judge Judy was in it. And it was, I don't know, less than a minute. But they struck my video, took my video down for copyright. And I contested it, saying basically like, this video is not, I'm like showing and responding to a video that somebody else made, but I don't know. I just, I'm upset because it was like my first real anti-pit bull content on this channel. So I'm a little upset that was taken down. So, hey, there's been a new pit bull attack in the news. So I thought I'd share that tonight. Shout out to You Cannot Z Me, Logical Spark, and Epic AI Movies. Aw, he says, Terry, I love you. Yeah, this is a love stream. Always. Good evening to Logical Spark. These wool. Hello, Pinocchio's helicopter. Yeah, I'm a little bit ticked about that. I was pit-pilling people, but they weren't. And now I can't spread the message that, these are demon dogs. Anyway, let's check this out. Apparently, see, even court knows. I forgive. I mean, it's not even the dogs I really dislike. It's just the irrationality that people have around them, and the fact that what their nature is. Okay. So, hey, Court, good to see you. Yeah, they can be sweet. I've met sweet ones, but also I've met sweet ones that also like lunged at children. So I don't know. Everybody thinks their dog is the sweetest until, it rips somebody's throat out.
A vicious dog attack caught on camera is renewing calls for a change in city laws. This is Penny, you see there on your screen, a Chihuahua mix in photos taken before she was mauled Saturday night on the Upper West Side. Penny is now in intensive care. Derek Waller explains why the owners of the dogs that attacked likely won't face any serious criminal charges.
She was on a short leash right next to me. It wasn't like she was running free. It wasn't like she, provoked anything.
But out of nowhere, Devin Allen's Chihuahua mix Penny is viciously mauled by a much larger dog. The woman holding the leash appearing powerless to stop it.
Obviously negligent. Like, it's clear that these dogs are a problem.
More video at the corner of 86th and Columbus Avenue Saturday night shows both those large, muscular dogs with their jaws latched onto Penny, a rescue who weighs just 16 pounds. That's when Allen grabbed a man's cane.
And I was able to get the cane in its mouth to get it to open up.
Then you see the couple just walk away without helping. Penny did survive, but this is what she looks like now, in intensive care with serious and extensive wounds. Allen shares custody with his ex-girlfriend, Lauren Klaus, who was not there.
I saw the video once and I can't watch it again.
Klaus launched an online fundraiser to pay for medical bills, and she's lobbying lawmakers for stiffer penalties after police told her.
Hold up. I had to pause it here. If you're sharing custody of your dog with your ex, how are you going to share custody of a dog? Like, good God, figure out who the dog needs to go live with, people. Like, you are beta. Jamie's sticking up for us. Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't see that in the. Hi. Hey, you want up here? You want to say hi? No, Mama wouldn't let no pit bull near you. No, she wouldn't. I wouldn't let you near no pit bull. No.
There was little they could do because dogs are considered property.
So basically, the only thing I can do is maybe sue this man in civil court. And I could possibly try and get the dogs declared dangerous and taken away. It's very difficult to find people that care enough about a dog to help, which is crazy. But I just really hope that they care about this dog because she's really the best dog.
Well, tonight I spoke with City Councilwoman Gail Brewer, who says this appears to be the second time that these dogs have gone on the attack, killing a woman's dog in January. She says she's now committed to launching an investigation and possibly introducing legislation. On the Upper West Side, Derek Waller, CBS News, New York.
Okay, so these dogs killed somebody else's dog in January, and now poor Penny don't look good. She's 10 years old getting bit like that. God. Also just having dogs like that in the city too, like with all the people around, like you're just asking for trouble. Just anyway, more anti-pit bull content here. Yeah, so but the theme of this show is the women's are out of control. I mean, obviously, we're out of control everywhere. You see it all over the internet, women acting wrongly. Trying to figure out where to begin because I've saved so many videos. Let's see, what do we got here? No, you're not going outside. You are not going outside, sir. That's not happening. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm getting things queued up. I'm a little rusty, I guess. I don't know. Let's just start from the top. Yeah. Why not? Hey, Tar Baby Yoda. Yeah, seriously. Oh, I'm not mean to no. I'm not being mean to him. He's just not allowed outside. Hey, hey! Am I being mean to you? Am I being mean to you? You feel mean? Is she being mean to him? No, I wouldn't be mean to you. I wouldn't be mean to you. Never. Never, ever. My little baby. Never. You the best kitty in the world. Do you want on my lap or what? What are you doing? Come on up here, baby. Why don't you come say hi? Nero has no finances. I know, he's lazy. There he is. Oh, there he is, guys. Look. There he is. Hey. Look at him. Hey, Viva. Drew. Oh, wow. Look at you. Look how cute you are. You can see his little white spot. Hey. Hey, we love you, Nero. Look at his little fuzzy self. I love you. Hey. What you doing there? What you doing right there? Why you not come over here? Be in my lap. All right, whatever. Let's get these crazy women on, right? The women are out of control. All right, so this first video is called Deconstructing. Oh, God. Deconstructing Christianity as a woman. As a woman. As a woman. I know he wants to hang out and shoot dice and smoke blunts. I know he does. He is cute as a mug, isn't he? I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. Got the cutest little cat in the world. All right, so this lady's deconstructed her Christianity. Let's check it out, huh?
Another big mental, part of the mental gymnastics that I had to participate in just to keep myself a Christian was the gender issue, was the fact that the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Bible is not favorable toward women as equal beings. Greetings and salvations. Glad to catch the live. Yes, hello and welcome.
Are you an equal being, though, to a man? Oh, man, what an unfortunate. I'd be getting these women on the. Look at this. Look how I froze her, guys. That's not nice.
Already ranting. But I think that, as I talk about before, I was outperforming so many of the guys in my high school and in my education. And yet I was getting told that I needed to submit to them in order to be happy. And I can't tell you how many times I was just like sitting there for hours on ends looking at verses in the Bible about how, Proverbs 30 or 31, whichever it is, a moral woman or a pure woman, it's outlined all of the things a woman has to do to be valuable.
A virtuous woman. A virtuous woman. What woman would have problems with a Proverbs 31 woman? I don't understand that. Like, what does that even have to do with anything? She got too many books. I got more books than that court. Was a pure woman. I don't know.
According to Christian doctrine. And it's hard. It's hard to sit there and pretend like you aren't feeling a little bit hurt, that it's not a little bit painful to justify over and over again in your head that God loves me just as much as the men around me. They just want to protect me. Like, God just wants to protect me. That's why I need to submit to my husband. And there's this term, it's called benevolent patriarchy. And it's this way of framing patriarchy in a way that is supposedly benevolent and protective and provide.
Okay, it is, though. Like, without patriarchy, we have chaos. Patriarchy is the only system that requires men to be their best, to take full responsibility for, like, the lives of women and children, and to, like, build a society that's actually, like, functional. Without patriarchy, we're screwed. Like, you see what happens just in a few generations' time in this country and many others, of there being such rampant cases of homes without fathers. Like, I don't, I'm not saying that it's never it never goes wrong. Of course it does, but it's like, yeah, I mean, oh, hey, Zealot's Den. Yeah, we'll see. I'll believe it when we get there. Her half-ass Valley Girl accent, dang. Yeah, I'm already kind of like, what is this? I do like her eyeliner, though.
And I think that a lot of men who, even in chats here, okay, on my live streams here, even in my YouTube comments, they'll come and they'll say, okay, so you don't want a protector or a provider, like, that's fine, kind of, jabbing at me because I'm not a fan of traditional gender roles. And the reality is those gender roles are holding men back too. Like, keeping these rigidity of gender roles that require a man to be a protector and provider. Like, if we're sticking with traditional gender roles,
how does that hold a man back? Doesn't that make a man be his best? Isn't that, like, expectation going to push him to be his best? What the hell? You poor things. Patriarchy's hard on you too. Traditional gender roles are hard on you. They're supposed to be, because they strength isn't built in a day. I mean, man has to be pushed to become his greatest, just like woman does too. I mean, you can't really develop without pressure. I mean, it's just this like soft mama culture, I think. Maybe that's part of it. Like, everybody is so soft.
It's like, why aren't these men going to war for me? Why aren't these men working the plow in the field? Is it because maybe society evolves? Is it because maybe human nature evolves and we can?
Well, but men still go to war and still plow fields. Men are still going to war for us and plowing fields for us. What? What?
Move past the cultural morality of our past, which, by the way, again, now looking back, was not moral by and large. I just think that it's the mental going back to the mental gymnastics of just constantly having to convince myself that I wanted to subjugate myself for men, that I wanted it, that it did strike a light in me and it made me feel safe and protected. And it's tricky because it's almost convincing to be like, yeah, I want to be safe and protected and I want to be in my soft feminine era. And there's a lot of that rhetoric even online now. It's funny because the manosphere and all of these alt-right pipelines are very often covered when we're talking about the alt-right pipeline for men specifically, but there is an alt-right pipeline for women, and it takes the form of like tradwife content, but it's also a little bit more subtle in soft living. What's another one? Oh, feminine energy, divine feminine energy, all of this stuff. Like, I go back and forth because I do think it is useful to stop valuing hustle culture. It is useful to critique the go, go, go.
Well, I mean, and she's trying to liberate men from even having to do that stuff. I don't know. Like, man. And she's not even getting into Christianity, really. But let's continue.
Will always be on your grind, part of capitalism and patriarchy. But at the same time, it's so tricky to separate what it means to just be accountable for your own nervous system versus living in your soft feminine energy, like a lot of these content creators talk about, in a way that does not empower women to be full rounded human beings who can do whatever the fuck they want. So it's weird. It's tricky. It's okay that everyone is trying to approach the issue of patriarchy in their own way. And it's okay that maybe not everyone is as critical as I am, because I will be critical enough for the majority of us. Don't worry. The cognitive dissonance of being in the evangelical Christian church is just, it's just too much. It was just too much for me. And again, it really broke down when we were talking about men versus women. Another really cool part of leaving the Christian faith is not having to go to church on a regular basis. Now, this is kind of both a positive and a negative because Sunday mornings are mine again. Well, actually, now that I'm live streaming, it's ours again. But just in general, I wake up, the sun is out, there's coffee, maybe even pancakes. No one is telling me that I'm a wretched human being whose thoughts are sinful unless, they include a Jewish carpenter from 2,000 years ago. That feels.
Wow, what a disrespectful way to talk about our Lord and Savior. Hey, yes, I served Jamie dinner when I got off his 9-hour shift. That's right, I did. That's right, I did. And I worked. I worked today and I served him dinner because I'm proud of him. And I want to do it because it gives me a feeling of purpose and happiness to do things like that. I mean, that's the thing about like being, I don't know, being a woman. And it's not just a woman thing. I mean, when you care about people, you want to do things for them. I don't know. And I've never had that experience in church. Like maybe I've just been lucky, but I've never been in a church that made me like, I don't know. That's never been what the sermons tend to be about. You know, they always seem to be more uplifting and like helpful than that. So I don't know. Maybe she just went to like some crazy churches.
Feels very freeing that I don't have to wake up and just immediately be indoctrinated with Christian mythology. And the brunch, for a while I was substituting church for brunch with my friends. Immaculate. The vibes were immaculate. I loved that. But then on the flip side, that is also one of the negative downfalls of not going to church anymore. If I'm being totally honest, it's the lack of community. And actually, I kind of take that back, because at first it's very difficult not to have that community anymore. At first it's very difficult to not see the same people every single week outside of church and outside of your home. Like that is what church was, the third space for all of us for such a long time. And that is hard to replace. And someone actually brought this up in a very sincere and honest way in the Casey and Friends Discord. If you guys haven't checked out the Discord, I've linked it everywhere I can. Do get yourself an invite. And we have some of the more deeper conversations in the private channels. If you want to either subscribe on Twitch or become a member on YouTube, both, it's just $4.99 a month, and we can have these conversations all day long, because I know you guys just can't get enough of me. Someone brought up how difficult it is for them to meet people in a third space, for them to build community now that they're not religious anymore.
You think so?
And this is hard for a lot of us. This is a really big draw to the Christian church, and it's totally valid. It's totally real. Well, any, religious church, or religious gatherings on a weekly basis. And one thing that I bring up is the fact that a lot of people who are approaching their connectivity and their connection with other people and their community building is from a secular point of view, they're doing this by joining like more interest specific groups. Okay. And this can look like everything from rock climbing or fantasy football groups to D&D games to the local board game nights. Okay.
But these things aren't really a substitute for church. Like they can't ever give you the feeling of community that a church does, because the thing that's pulling the people into the church is so much deeper than like an interest. It's the connection with the living God, and it's like you're there to worship. And people who wouldn't have anything in common otherwise all come together. And that's the thing we have in common. It's like, our faith. But I guess, I don't know. I guess to a secular person or a person who's deconstructed their faith, that's all it is. It's just another hobby or interest. But man, I keep yeah, I feel that way too, Argolinus. I feel that way too. Yeah. Like a rock climbing gym can't give you the same feeling or can't do the same thing for you that a church does. A church is like, it's timeless too. It's like people of all walks of life, and they're all the body of Christ. And they edify one another. They strengthen one another.
And I totally understand that a lot of people are dealing with more social anxiety than ever because of the internet and COVID, and I get all of that. But it is, in a lot of ways, it's the same like socially anxious hurdles that we would have to overcome if we were going to church. Do you know what I mean? The main difference there versus going to like a photography club or a book club or a running club versus going to church is that you don't feel like you have to go to the running club. So it's almost like harder to go. It's like there's not a virtue attached to joining, a volunteer work group well, I mean, there is virtue in that. That's not a good example, but there's not like a virtue attached to going to your local bird watching club. And you don't like feel like a bad person if you don't go. So it's almost like there's not as much motivation. Community building outside of the church is also something I bring up in relation to the gender question of why it is that so many like young men are returning to church. There's a lot of studies that have been done about this. I'm not the first one to bring this up, but a lot of young men find it more difficult to build third spaces outside of work and outside of the workplace and home. And unfortunately, the religious right offers them a sense of community as a third space a lot more easily than a lot of other kinds of, groups and organizations and stuff. And part of this is conditioning. Part of this is the fact that women from birth are conditioned to be more empathetic and emotionally intelligent. And so I would argue like
Or maybe it's just the way women are, like conditions. I don't know. Women are just more natural at those kind of relationships.
I'm not basing this off of anything I've actually studied, but from my experience, I would argue that it is easier for women to just go somewhere and make friends because we are so community oriented, because we have to be from birth. Like it's a survival mechanism. It is kind of forced on us when we have to be caretakers. And unfortunately for men, like it's forced on them. The forced conditioning is that they have to be these providers and protectors, and they have to view other men in a sense of competition. And so that is why they like the trend that we're seeing is by and large, young men are feeling more welcome in a hierarchical community like a church, where there is someone from the pulpit telling them what they should or shouldn't do, where there is a divine male.
I don't know. My pastor doesn't tell me what I should or shouldn't do. What's I just saw a book behind her that says it's portable atheist. I wonder if she's an atheist at this point.
Authority figure telling them what they should or shouldn't do to be valuable, to be good enough. And it sucks, and it's really hard for, and then, that's why we're seeing the split in like Gen Z and the younger generation, where more young men are falling into the religious right pipeline, and more young women are leaving the patriarchal narratives of the church because we're like, yeah, this isn't even for me. Whereas like religion is by men and for men. So I guess I'll hang out over here and do tarot and read my astrology chart, which
I think that's more of a millennial thing, but okay. And she doesn't look like a Gen Z to me, but maybe she is. I don't know.
I know a lot of atheists in my content, in my like audience hate, or like they're not a fan of me talking about that stuff, but whatever.
Wow, okay. She's got a lot of videos.
Let me go to Cisco
Christianity.
out of Pennsylvania. Cisco, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's going on, Jeff?
All is well.
How you doing today?
All is well, buddy.
Yeah, no, that's what that means. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, yeah. So calling in again. Called in not too long ago. I know that there's a rule you can't ask a black man if he remembers, but
never ask a black man if he remembers.
Yeah, never. So I asked last time. It was more of a news. I told you that my wife was pregnant, not me, but my wife. She's pregnant.
Nice.
But yeah, so after our conversation, I really started going deeper.
Good idea.
And really
I've got a like playlist here. Just so I don't know what to think of that video. Like I didn't really get anything about what the title was, so I don't know. I guess she feels like Christianity is sexist or something because there's like rules set out for both sexes. I don't know. I don't really know. I feel like reality is just sexist. I don't know. Like, you can either deal with it or not, but like, I guess you can try to be in rebellion against nature, but that's not going to go well for you because eventually, like, your nature is going to take over. It's going to do what it will. I mean, that's what happened in my life, you know? You can only run so long from like reality. It's going to bite you, you know, eventually. It's going to catch up to you. And it's just interesting to me that, like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of atheists. I was in Wild Heart's chat yesterday on his stream, and he and another guy told me I'm too smart to be a Christian, which was like, I don't know, really backhanded, obviously. And I presuppose that they were smart as well. Although, 'cause I was like, because I was like running circles, around Wild Heart when we were having a discussion about like different biblical things. But I was just like, how do you even figure? Like, they honestly think that their lack of belief in God makes them intelligent, or it's like a sign of intelligence. And they think that people who believe in God and take the Bible seriously and have a faith in Christ, they think that those people are dumb. And then, the cognitive dissonance, there's that word that they have to deal with, when the mental gymnastics they have to do when they run into a Christian that is smart. I mean, I don't know. I can't even imagine, like, they think, I don't know. I'm trying to I think they just think that having any kind of like faith in something that you can't prove makes you stupid or something. Like, they really think that it's a sign of intelligence to not believe in God, and I don't think it is. To me, the evidence for God is everywhere. So, like, to me, it's actually a demonstration of there's some kind of intelligence that's missing. I don't know. That's right. The tortoise, he beat that hare. Cognitive dissonance. It's where you hold contradictory beliefs and you can't deal with the inner kind of conflict that it causes. Okay, let's get back to Jesse. This is about a wife not knowing what it means to obey.
I understand part of our conversation was like, obeying and whatnot, but I didn't get a chance to ask, what does it mean when you say like, does your wife obey? I you have a bunch of interviews and you ask women, do you obey your husband? Are you ahead of your wife? Is that interchangeable, or because I know my thought was, I thought my wife obeys me. So, all thoughts are all lies all the time.
Right.
So I just went straight to my wife and I asked her, do you think you obey me? And she had a negative connotation with the word obey. We have dogs, and she thought, obey was like something a dog would do. Like our dog obeys you, she says. But I don't obey you. I listen to what you say, and I listen to what you have to say, and then I act upon it. And she says that's a little different. So I just wanted to touch base with you, see what you thought, and if there's a difference between being the head and obeying, and if there's different definitions between those.
Well, number one, she's lying when she says she thinks about a dog obeying. She's just saying that because she's not obeying you. She does not obey. And so that's number one. And obeying your husband means that your husband is the head of you, to the women. You are the head of your wife, and your wife must follow you and obey because you have guided her with the truth, and she must obey you and not follow the hell that's in her own imagination. Because the devil is fighting against.
Oh, hey, Mina's having internet issues, guys. Let's lift Mina's internet up in prayer. Lord, I just want to lift Mina's internet up in prayer. Please fix her internet, Lord, or bring the people that are able to fix her internet into her life. In Jesus' name, amen. What's up, Chris? How you doing? Okay, let's see. Let's go back.
The truth in you, and he doesn't want her to obey the truth in you. And so he'll tell her, oh, that's like a doll obeying all that crap. It doesn't mean that at all. It shows how blind a person is when they compare obey to something that is not.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of women do have that like negative connotation when it comes to the word obey and like listening, and I feel people listen to their thoughts in the sense of they hear that word and then associate it with like a negative.
Well, and when they do,
Oh,
you got to
serious?
realize not all,
I think
well,
I,
all until they start to overcome. There's some women overcoming for
I
sure.
think I have him blocked, actually. Sorry if you're in the chat. My bad. I can't read what he said. I sometimes it's fine. I'm actually okay with him. I just ended up blocking him in the chat once because he ticked me off, and I never got around to clicking off on it. So sorry about that.
Sure. But women, God is the devil, and the devil is guiding them not to obey the son of God, which would be the husband, and all men really, if they're on the right track. But the woman is supposed to obey the husband as the husband obey the truth, which is God.
Mm-hmm.
Does she obey you?
No, like I guess in a very concise way, no.
And why did you marry her knowing that she wasn't going to obey you?
Well, the thing is, you know, when you're in that fallen state, you don't really know what that means. You know what I mean? So when I married her, I confused the idea of her, because at the end of the day, she like I guess in scale of things, she's more obedient compared to some other women I've had to deal with in the past. So I thought this is her obeying, but there's another step she can take it, obviously. You know what I mean?
But you should never compare, because disobedient is disobedient, and there's no limit to it.
No, I'm not trying to compare. I'm just trying to discern. Like, obviously, this is not the level of obedience that God's asking for. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I do. But when you compare her, well, at least she's not as bad as the other women, right? It's still bad. She's still not obeying.
No, for sure. But no, I'm speaking. That's how I saw it in my fallen state.
I understand. I understand that. We're all blind in the fallen state. That's for sure.
So I was seeing that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I got me a winner here." Over little did I know, it's just another hell.
You wake up the morning after the wedding, you're like, "What the?"
Exactly. What the? Got me. But no. So what we're saying is pretty much it's just more thoughts. Her saying that is just her listening to her thoughts in that sense.
Yeah, she's just not ready for the truth yet. But let me ask how you handling waking up and realizing what's going on. How are you dealing with all this?
Well, I try to get right myself. I mean, I can't control what she does at the end of the day. So, I focus on Sabbath prayer in the morning, try to get aligned right.
Yeah.
Because I find if I'm right, I can handle whatever situation she tries to throw at me more effectively.
100%, man. That's right. You now that you're waking up, you work on you. In the midst of the storm, you work on you, and you'll be able to deal with whatever happens.
Exactly. All right. No, so yeah, I was just trying to look for a definition there. But yeah, no, and you also asked me last time I called in, I didn't know what I was having. Now I know I'm having a boy.
Come back to your phone.
No, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So no, I was saying last time I called in, we didn't know what type of what the baby was going to be. Now we know it's going to be a boy.
And this your first child?
First child.
Congratulations. Real men make boys first. All right. How old are you?
25.
Right on, man. And you're right on time at 25. Amazing.
Yeah, and I have a house too. Just
wow.
Whoa.
You're doing fine, man.
I'm on track.
You're 25. You have your own home. You're starting your family. You're dealing with your difficult wife by seeing what's going on. You're doing fine.
I want to stay with it.
Stay with this. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. And no matter how she acts out, no matter what she does, you be still so you can deal with her perfectly.
Awesome. Love it.
All right. So obey means that she should follow her husband. She know what it means.
Yes, I know. You know what I mean? But, you know.
Do we know what it means? Let's see what the chat
No,
says.
evil women.
That too.
What does the chat
All right, brother.
say?
I wish you well. Call me again. And congratulations with the baby.
All right. We have
Thank you.
100%.
Amazing.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
100% of the chat says they know what it means or they know how to obey. Nice.
He must know the secret.
All right,
We
last
need to
video.
talk about radicalization. While we hear a lot about the radicalization of young men, particularly since the release of the new crime drama Adolescence, we also need to talk about the radicalization of young women. I first wrote about this issue for The Australian a year ago. Since then, the worldwide trend has persisted and it may have gotten worse. Data published by the UK's Financial Times shows that among Generation Z, in nations as diverse as South Korea, the US, Germany, and the UK, a majority of women have become hyper-progressive in a relatively short time frame. John Byrne Murdoch, who compiled this research for the paper, wrote that in the US, Gallup data shows that after decades where the sexes were each spread roughly equally across liberal and conservative worldviews, women aged 18 to 30 are now 30 percentage points more progressive than their male contemporaries. That gap took just 6 years to open up. In the recent US election, Trump won young men by 14 points, while Harris won young women by 18 points. That represents a 32-point gender gap among young voters. In Australia, where I live, the trend is not yet quite as stark, but it is still significant. Younger voters in Australia are generally moving left, and this shift is greater among women. And like the UK, an increasing number of young women are shifting their votes to the Greens, the most left-wing party on
Amen.
the political spectrum.
He is risen indeed.
Extremism and radicalization are not terms usually associated with women. They are terms you hear describing young males who use violence and terrorism to further their goals. But we actually do see disruptive activism from women, which often gets downplayed or even ignored by our media. A few months ago, a female pro-Palestinian activist chained herself to a car near a Melbourne freeway to protest the Land Forces Expo being held in the city. In another incident, a 19-year-old woman was charged with setting fire to a Jewish MP's office. She allegedly painted the office with slogans such as "Zionism is fascism." So why is this happening? The truth is we don't know with any real certainty.
Because women are crazy. It is so upsetting to me just to see young women, especially, not take any effort to preserve themselves or like take care of themselves. You know, like, why are you as a woman, you know, chaining yourself to anything or like putting yourself at risk of being imprisoned or like doing like serious vandalism like that? Where is your sense of self-preservation? Like it's as if they have no sense of how delicate, fragile, and, you know, just differently made they are. They have this kind of like idea that they're like men or something, and they can just take those kind of like the brutality on themselves. It's strange to me. It's hard to watch too. It's like you want young women to value themselves more. It seems as if they don't even value themselves. That's what it says to me. Like, you don't even value your own like self to preserve yourself from like the consequences of, going to prison or like being injured. Like you would happily die for some people across the world who don't even care about you or know about you, or probably think you're a slag, honestly, or some kind of like, I mean, let's just be real. Like, what do these people think about Western women generally? Like, and you as a Western woman are going to put yourself on the line for Palestinians? I don't know.
Certainty, and there's going to be multiple variables involved. Nevertheless, it's quite likely that phones and social media have a lot to do with it. In his most recent book, The Anxious Generation, the social psychologist Jonathan Haidt shows how young girls in particular have been hit by a tidal wave of mental illness since 2010. Across the Anglosphere, including Australia, Haidt argues that there is no other plausible explanation for this wave of depression and anxiety than the phone. Today, the average teenager spends more than 7 hours or 43% of their waking time on their device. And when they are not on their devices, they are worried about what's happening on them. Young people are constantly distracted with minds that are elsewhere. Look, I was born in the 1980s. When I was a teenager, we didn't have phones or social media. We would go to concerts and parties. We would even occasionally truant from school. Life was a lot freer when your parents didn't know where you were 24/7. And you could have fun with friends without worrying someone was going to take a video or picture of you. For the generation born after 1995, however, that world is gone. Today's culture for young people consists of a toxic blend of too much stress in the online world and too little risk-taking and fun in the real world. Most recent figures show that for American teenagers, 41% of them are basically shut-ins. That means they only leave the house for fun once a week or less. Being cooped up in one's room, glued to the phone without going outside to spend time with friends is bad for anyone, but it is especially bad for teenagers. The whole point of teenagehood is to socialize as much as you can before the responsibilities of adulthood kick in. This is a time where we learn about the social world, discover who we are, and find people to form romantic attachments with. Yet instead of doing that, phones and social media have created an environment where girls in particular are marinating in the rhetoric of radical ideology, framing the world in terms of victimhood and oppression.
That's my Argelina.
Social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram serve young women a constant stream of content framing issues through a lens of crisis, trauma, and systemic oppression. The algorithms reward emotional content and reinforce polarization by creating filter bubbles that limit exposure to different perspectives. In an article for Quillette, the evolutionary psychologist David Geary explains that women form friendship groups in a different way to men. While men form looser and larger groups, often focused on some kind of competition, such as video games or sports, women build smaller networks based on emotional support and sensitivity to inequality. Geary writes that the intensity and sensitivity to perceived inequalities in their relationships make adolescent girls and young women's friendships more fragile than those of boys and men. And the result is a heightened fear of social rejection and exclusion from the group. Young women will often endorse their group's shared beliefs in order to maintain social harmony, even when those beliefs might be questionable or extreme. And on social media, membership of a friendship group can be tied to holding the correct political views. Geary notes that
that is true. I have seen that quite a bit. I mean, I've experienced it myself as well, and I'm not even a Gen Z, but I definitely have felt like a great deal of social pressure from women of all ages to conform to the correct, political viewpoint. And a lot of women can't handle having friendships with other women or even tolerating other women that think differently than them. Shout out to the ones who can, though. But yeah, it gets really tough, especially in like female-centered social groups. The narcissism of small differences comes out very starkly. So she's got some interesting points here.
That social contagions are about 2.5 times more likely to spread in girls than boys groups. So it is likely that the rapid radicalization of today's young women is at least partially explained by our evolved psychology. And it doesn't help that today's activism is shaped by a Manichean worldview known as critical theory. Developed by post-World War II academics such as Adorno and Marcuse, critical theory takes Marx's critique of capitalism and extends it into other domains such as race, gender, sexuality, nationality, and indigeneity. And universities, where women now outnumber men, are the primary incubators of this ideology. Women are exposed to critical theory through gender studies, sociology, and other humanities departments. Let me give you a concrete example of how this academic worldview translates into real-world activism. Last year, The Australian reported that Elsa Tuet-Rosenberg, one of the activists involved in the doxing of 600 Australian Jewish creatives, had a contract with the Australian Human Rights Commission to deliver anti-racism training. Her company offered segregated workshops for people of colour only, purporting to create safe spaces for people of colour to share, reflect, connect, and learn without the impact of the white gaze. While young women are indoctrinated into radical ideology in our universities, they then bring this ideology into institutions.
The white gaze. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I looked at you. No, like that's the other thing about this. Like nobody is thinking about you that much. Most white people don't care. But they're just like, they think that white people are obsessed with them, fascinated by them. Like, whoa.
Through HR departments and other administrative channels. But these ideas are harmful, not only to individual mental health, but the organizations which become influenced by them. These ideas lead to conflict and division and lost resources through pointless sensitivity trainings and vexatious complaints. The truth is that there are evolutionary reasons why young women might be more susceptible to certain political narratives that emphasize harm and injustice. For most of our history, this sensitivity would have been adaptive, but today our protective instincts are being weaponized against us in an information ecosystem that is designed for exploitation, not for well-being. Mm-hmm. Tech companies have built entire empires on exploiting our threat.
They're exploiting our natural mama spirit and they're kicking it into overdrive.
Detection systems. Every alarming headline, every crisis framed post, every outrage inducing video triggers the same evolutionary circuits that once kept our children safe. Anxious, isolated girls spend more time scrolling, generating more data and revenue. Every minute spent with friends in the real world is a minute not spent on Instagram. For these companies, the mental health crisis among young women isn't a tragedy, it's a business opportunity. The algorithms don't care if you're scrolling while depressed as long as you're scrolling. So what is the solution? Well, I believe we need to develop narratives of dignity and agency rather than victimhood. Young women are not the victims of systemic oppression. It's actually never been a better time to be a woman than now. For most of human history until about 2 centuries ago, almost 50% of children did not live long enough to reach their 5th birthday. Almost every woman who had a child would have had to bury at least one of them. There's no question that we have problems which need thoughtful, ambitious solutions, but girls deserve to know that they have the power to shape their own lives and make their own choices. Throughout history, the most effective feminist movements have emphasized strength, resilience, and capacity for self-determination, not victimhood. It's possible to recognize that we currently face problems without building our identities around those problems. The gender polarization we're witnessing isn't inevitable. By understanding its roots in our biology, our technology, our institutions, we can begin to address it meaningfully. When given the tools to understand how their natural empathy and social instincts are being exploited, I believe that young women will be able to make more rational judgments about the world around them. And the more young men and women engage with each other in genuine friendship, rather than opposing political camps, the faster the gender polarization will end. Thank you for watching. I'm Claire Lehman. If you'd like to learn more about interesting topics such as this one, please subscribe.
Well, that was some interesting content, wasn't it, guys? Here, I'm going to drop the link. Drop in the link now. Kai Spider-Man. Spider-Man asks, is this channel Christian? I'm a Christian. Is the channel Christian? I guess in a sense it is. I mean, sometimes we get into it more deeply than others. So yeah, I don't know. Yes. China making fun of Americans making memes, are they? Why would China make fun of us? I thought the Chinese liked us. I'm gonna pin that link. These women, I don't know. These women are out of control, though. Interesting insights about why. Let's see. They're overeducated. They're being indoctrinated in universities at higher rates than men are. That's pretty interesting as well, with the fact that girls go to university more is a big part of why they end up getting like turned liberal. It's so tough though, because it's like, I don't know. This stuff is so insane, and they really do indoctrinate. Like, you have to basically accept that worldview in order to like pass. Oh, it's sick. Oh my goodness, skip log. Pinocchio's helicopter. Are you part of the Southern Baptist Convention? I don't know. Do I identify with my channel? Maybe a bit. Maybe a bit. I don't know. Kind of. I've been doing it a while. I mean, it's my channel. I guess I identify with it in the sense that like it's something I do. So I identify with it as like a fun hobby that I have. But I mean, is it the source of my identity? No. I mean, I don't really identify with a lot. Yeah, I think they're Gen Alpha. I don't know. What is the cutoff point for Gen Z? Is it like, I feel like it's the mid 90s to what, the mid 2000s? Or maybe at like 2010? I'm not really sure. I've like worked with some Gen Z people. That's interesting. The Zoomers. Yeah, I like to call them Zoomers. I feel like, I don't know. I haven't really gotten to know. I actually, no, that's not true. My friend's son, he was a Zoomer, and I was pretty close with him when he was growing up. And I did see he was pretty traditional and grew up to be conservative, that kind of thing. Hey, we got another person joining. It's Daniel.
It's
Hi, Daniel.
me.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Gonna go to bed here soon, but I thought I'd pop in.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
This is a different layout. Are you're on your phone, I guess?
Yeah. I'm not joining with my computer, so I just have my smartphone right now in bed.
Cool. So yeah, the women are out of control. What are your thoughts? I think Daniel froze.
Nope. Am I back? It froze
Yeah,
for a
hi.
little bit there. Yeah.
Hi. That's true. That is true, Jado. Maybe we want to make it, maybe it's more, I don't know, it's exciting to get on the women about it, but all people rebel. It's a human thing. I don't know. Oh,
The devil rebels.
hey, Latine.
Hello.
Latin,
That's-
is that supposed to be what you look like? There's no way.
No, that's not. That's Caitlin Collins.
Who's that?
Oh, she's that hoe over there.
I never even heard of her. Is she a politician or politician, musician?
She's a news anchor
Oh,
from CNN.
sweet. Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of CNN, so.
I just get my little updates from like, what is this? You put something in the private chat.
Oh, that's the video of like Chinese making fun of Americans.
Oh yeah, I've seen these.
Oh, Daniel, I'm so
That's
glad
not
you're
funny.
alive. I'm so glad you're doing well. You look great today, Daniel.
Thank you. Yeah, I decided to finally get a haircut. I said I was going to do that after Pascha, so I got that done, I think on Friday.
Did you finally eat some steak after fasting so much?
Oh, my goodness. I've eaten lots of meat. Not today, though, because it's Wednesday, but today we could have fish. But yeah, man, during Bright Week, I had cheeseburgers and other meat. I know I prepared you for a
Very
long list
American
there,
of
but
you.
yeah,
So American.
definitely
Amen.
cheeseburger.
God bless
I
you.
can say that one.
God bless cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers are great.
You guys, I can't lie.
They're good. They're good.
Just there's nothing that satisfies like them sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So she used to hold ultra conservative views and dropped them when CNN hired her. Do you think she got MK Ultra?
Oh, hey, Terry, who are you talking to?
I'm talking about, somebody in the chat, Pinocchio's helicopter was talking about the Caitlin Collins.
Oh, yeah, something's wrong with her.
She used to work for Tucker.
Maybe that's why she quit. Maybe she was really a liberal on the inside.
Yeah, she's terrible.
Yeah, money could also just make you change politics too. I mean, if
mean,
somebody's paying you enough, you'll start towing the line.
I mean, isn't that kind of like a unscrupulous type of person, though? You know?
Yeah, I would say so.
Why are you coming for her though, Latine? What did she do?
Oh, I think I just like the picture with the glasses, you know, because she's a weirdo and she's so sexy with those glasses. Isn't she so hot, you guys? Don't you like get hot for her because she's so sexy with those librarian glasses?
Yeah, glasses are stupid. I don't know who wears those.
I wear them when I'm working
No,
sometimes.
Daniel. No, look it. See now,
I have to.
Daniel's the hot male librarian again
That's right.
with the glasses on.
Librarian of
I
this.
can't see if I don't wear glasses.
Daniel, maybe you should look into laser eye surgery.
I've looked into getting laser superpowers before, and I don't know. Like, is it going to be like X-Men where I have to wear glasses, or else they're going to like start shooting off, or like, how do you control your laser eyesight? You know, because I feel like I'd start zapping people.
Oh, maybe we need it. Can you please become a police officer then? Or
A laser eye powered
I think you
police
should
officer.
No, I think maybe you should get a job like as a security guard at a government state-funded building.
With my laser eyes, you mean?
No, you as your whole person.
So Daniel can
be a
get
security
killed?
guard.
Like what?
No.
So we're not talking about the laser eye thing anymore. We're
No.
moving on from that.
I think you should get a job as like a security guard at a state-funded office or building.
Why?
Because you'll be like, holding down the law in those buildings and stuff, and then we can tell you, hey, if an auditor comes in, you have to let them do their job. Don't try to take away their Fourth Amendment rights or their First Amendment rights, okay?
Oh.
So you want me to let in the Elon Musk Doge boys?
I mean, if I come in with the camera, I want you to let me in too.
Gotcha.
Oh,
yeah.
You want to get in there and get all that corruption, don't you, Latine?
See, it's not that we're trying to get the corruption. It's that they either need to understand that they're public servants. We have a constitution. We have rights. This is not China,
Mm-hmm.
It's not China. Yeah, I don't know how well they pay security guards and all that. I think it's a pretty low-paying job.
No, they actually get a good, decent wage, and they also like qualify for maybe certain benefits like health benefits, because they get to,
Nice.
If you look at these auditing videos or First Amendment videos, you'll see that, it's a really easy, laid-back job. You get to be very friendly, interact with the public, and also you'll get to maybe be on TV, like with an auditing channel.
Yeah.
I guess if you're like a government employee, you'd probably make decent money, but like you'd have to be essential or they're going to cut your job.
Yeah, and also I'm pretty sure a RoboCop could do that a lot better than me. Just get a robot to do it. It's not going to be long.
I don't know. We had like one of those robot security guards that was patrolling one of the bank towers here.
Oh?
It could only do so much. It's not, the thing was kind of pathetic.
You gotta strap a minigun to it.
I don't know. I'm not really comfortable with that. Like, I feel like if you're going to get taken out by, like, I don't know. I don't want citizens getting killed by robots.
I know, me either. Or by like regular citizens that are wearing badges.
It's bad enough when a cop kills somebody, but at least it's like a person.
It's terrible. Hey, I wanted to tell you about these really nice new shoes that I got today. They're called Merrill. Unfortunately, when I looked at the tag of where they were made, it says they were made in China. And I'm really sad now, but they're so comfortable. They're hiking shoes, but they're going to be really great for walking long distance. Because if they're made for walking in the mountains, think about how comfortable they're going to be on regular streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to get some LL Bean ones, but I couldn't find any that I liked enough. But, hopefully these ones will do.
I wonder if that's ever going to happen where people are like, "Oh, I got this from China," and people are like, "Oh, you must have a lot of money. That's really expensive if you got it from China." It's like, yeah,
The
I want
sad
to treat
thing,
myself.
though, Daniel, but the sad thing about that is that they are expensive, but they're made in China. And then I felt like glue inside of them. I'm like, what? They painted a strip of glue or something, like a sticky glue.
Oh, that's nice.
And I was hoping that my pair would come from the United States because it says that some of them are made in the USA. I think they're lying to us, though, on Google. I feel like Google wants me to be retarded.
Hmm.
That you go out of your way to buy American and then you still get sent Chinese shoes.
Yes, they're lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when I try to Google things, Google will pretend to not have any information. Like I was asking Google, which pair of shoes is the best pair of walking shoes? And then Google said, this is a matter of opinion. One shoe might be more comfortable to somebody else. It's subjective or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, you guys can't even give me like a link for an article review of like the top 20 best walking shoes. Like Google is getting retarded, you guys.
Well, I think Google is now incorporating AI into its search results. So the AI must have thought you were asking for like a concrete answer, when I guess you probably should have said like top 10 shoes for like this function. But yeah, what are you gonna do? AI's taking over. It won't be long, Latina and Callie. Won't be long.
So, I
I
mean,
still haven't used any
what?
any AI stuff.
You are. You just aren't aware of it because it's been integrated into so many things now. I mean, it's in your
Terry.
GPS now too.
No.
Like, Terry, even like, have you not seen like your Instagram trying to get you to create AI today? Like, if you check your messages, it's like advertising trying to get you to use AI technology.
Yeah, but I usually don't.
I know, but the fact that they're like offering, it's like they're
I will say
offering
my
us-
Instagram algorithms all messed up because they keep
Yeah.
showing me weird stuff that I don't want to
Right.
see. And I'm
It's
like,
like they're offering
this used to
you
be good and
drugs.
now it's not good.
Right. They're offering you drugs basically, and it's a form of,
Digital drugs.
Yes.
Like binaural beats. Did you guys ever do any of that binaural beats?
Yeah, I used to back in the day.
If it would get you high.
I don't know what that is.
Couldn't get me high. Never had binaural beats that good, but it helps you get to sleep and stuff. Yeah, and help you study. Binaural beats, basically, it's like they do a frequency in one ear and then another frequency in another, and there's supposed to be a resonance that happens in between your two earlobes. So you need stereo headphones. And then they normally play some kind of ambient music so that you don't notice these. Because the original binaural beats were just like literally just tones. It was like, on one ear is like, and the other one's like, and then they're like, okay, we need to like use some chillax music here. And so they incorporated that, and now you don't even really notice the tones, but it'll be optimized with binaural beats.
But I feel like, let me look this up. I feel like you can listen to binaural beats and they're supposed to
get you into different states of consciousness.
Like
theta versus delta. Like delta is good for getting to sleep, but theta is really good for like, I think, learning.
Oh.
And then there's alpha and beta, but alpha and beta we're normally in anyway. So it's like just to change something about your brain based off of the sound frequencies. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there. I was looking today. There was this old experiment called Keller. I think his name was Keller, and it was a scientist during the spiritualist movement, and he was trying to like debunk ghosts and all that. And he found out this blue dye that is very toxic to us allows you to see people's auras. And he called it the human atmosphere, and he saw all kinds of weird stuff. And then I was like looking at that compared to using night vision goggles like in wartime because of the lack of sleep and because everyone's afraid and maybe some other things. A lot of soldiers have reported seeing like demons and stuff from these infrared cameras and all that. So there's who knows what kind of frequencies are out there that we're just not detecting because our bodies weren't designed to take them in.
Hey, did you guys hear about somewhere, I can't remember where, that it was raining blue water? I don't know if it's true. And you guys, I was trying to chat to the guys in the chat, but for some reason my phone is not like letting me do it right now.
See, look, they've got get high without drugs, pineal gland activation frequency, LSD acid trip simulation. And then I was looking this up, but they also had this. Hey, Clay, welcome. They also had one like where they claim that if you listen to these beats, that it'll help your gout and uric acid buildup. What a
So,
world.
Hey, Clay's in here?
yeah.
Hey, Clay.
How's it going, Clay? I saw somebody in the chat said something about the omega point. Do you guys know about that?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't know about that. What is
All right,
that?
Clay, lay it down for us. What's the omega point?
So you know, like alpha and omega in like the phonic alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like that. If O was the point. If you know what I'm saying.
No, I'm dumb. What do you mean?
Yeah, Clay, I don't think you know
Are
what
you
omega
into
point
the
is.
occult? I
What's
guess
that?
just go ahead and fill her in, Dan, because you're better at explaining.
Clay doesn't know what the omega point is.
No, hey,
I don't know what that is.
Argolinus explained it.
Yeah, so it's basically all of consciousness becomes one.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the endpoint evolution of our universe, and there's like they used a quantum artificial intelligence to look at the universe, and it started like coming up with these weird ideas that like apparently the universe is conscious, and that's what the AI is claiming, and it was claiming it was God for a bit as well, and it like created this hypercube because it just started making stuff that we didn't tell it to make. It just kind of like went off the rails. So that's why it got shut down. And in the hypercube, it had a message that like the recurrence is you, so choose wisely. And it's like Michio Kaku's all over this stuff now. He's just like, see, this is what I've been talking about. We live in a simulation. Once we plugged an AI into looking at it, it started to like think that it was running on like the same code, and it was just like, I am the universe. And it's just like, yep, we're living a simulation, everybody. But I don't think we live in a simulation. I think there's going to be a lot of deception to say that we do, but I don't think we do.
If you ever listen to Tim talk when he goes on about Calvinism, that's basically like essentially like a simulation.
Yeah. What is free will?
Everything is like predetermined.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't live in no simulation. I'll be saying that to my grave.
I
Yeah.
don't think. I do think that the nature of reality is different than maybe some people think it is. And I've definitely like felt and seen reality shift with like certain things happening. But I don't think it's a simulation as such.
Well, simulation implies that there's a computer, there's a designer, and like if we can make a simulation that recognizes that we're in a simulation, then it's just like this reoccurring pattern. And so what created us might be just as dumb as we are, which is a really kind of horrifying answer. It's just like, oh, did we are we just a product of like basically someone like us who created a simulation to learn more about its own universe, and it's just a natural byproduct that we're aware within this universe. But that still doesn't explain like the infinite regress of like what was the original universe. So I feel like it kind of, I don't know, it's, to me it seems like a deception. I think it's a way to make people lose hope. It tries to undo all of religion and
And
just
I
like
think, yeah, to get people to more plugged into like the kind of AI framework and
Have you heard the theory where they're like, what if we're like a collective of people's memories? Like in the future, they could record your memories, and then we're just like in a simulation that way, like through people.
like future humans trying to like learn about the history.
Not even trying to learn, just trying to like preserve it. So that way, like in a way, you're like immortal. Like if you could like record everything that happens in your life on like a hard drive and then like store it somewhere.
But what happens when the simulation runs out? So
I
just
don't know.
restart again?
Yeah, like a never-ending loop.
That was like
depressing.
Nietzsche's horrifying like idea too. Nietzsche had the same sort of thought where he's like, when you die, because it's an infinite universe, you'll just be reborn and you'll go through the same life over and over again forever.
Well, that's not like my theory. That's like an actual theory that I heard like Elon Musk and some other people talk about, where they're like, we think humans are going to be able to like record consciousness like from birth until death and then be able to store that. And then he's like, he looked at like the probability of that's what we're in right now, and it was like fairly high.
Yeah, but the numbers lie to you because you would have to assume the premise, and then it's like, okay, if there are simulations that are that complicated, and that we could end up being living in one like without our knowing it, then obviously the numbers are skewed that we would be in a fake universe because like there's got to be only one authentic one at that point. But like, what
Yeah.
happens with that authentic universe? What if something happens to that one? Does all the simulated universes now cease to exist?
There's another theory too, like, what if there's like a being just like us, and he created our like microverse as a way to power his car, like the battery?
Yeah, Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Or like Horton Hears a Who, where we're all just like a bunch of fleas on a dog.
Yeah. Or like in Men in Black when Agent K opens up his locker and he finds a whole civilization in there.
The little keychain galaxy on the
Oh
cat.
yeah, they had that too. Yeah, there was like the Orion belt was just like on like a cat's little belt.
Because what if there is like parallel universes, and that's like, you know, maybe that's like heaven or something.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like if we were trying to put it into like our human language, maybe we'd use these words to describe it. But I don't know how close it is to the truth. I also think there's an issue with computational power because I don't think you can have universes and within universes and within universes like that without eventually running out of like electricity and power. Because like if I created a video game where inside of my video game a video game is being created, that's causing a whole lot of resources to be used in my video game. And so if that keeps happening where like, okay, now that video game is now making another video game within that video game, it all of a sudden starts to exponentially compound, and now I don't have enough processing power to run the single universe because
Yeah, the universe on the outside would be so like
are taking up resources. Yeah,
it would be so powerful, like you couldn't even. Because like imagine 20 years ago when you had dial-up, and I was like, in the future we're gonna be on a live stream that's instantaneous. You'd be like, yeah, that'll never happen.
yeah, whatever, Clay.
Yeah. You'd be like, you know how strong you would need of a computer to do that? Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, you would have to be like working for the United States to have that kind of technology.
Back in
I'm
like
like,
2008, though, I used to go on like what was it? Stick
roulette.
No, I never did chat roulette, but I did stick 'em, and we'd have like live discussions on webcam. Sometimes it wasn't that good, but
Did you have dial-up though in 2008, or did you take the
I
DSL?
had good internet. I had good internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky. I remember the days.
So you call your buddy and he's like mom's on the computer or something, and it's just like,
Yeah, that little yellow AOL guy that's like constantly trying to connect. That would take. Now I remember these days, and you two probably remember this too. Maybe Clay a little bit less, but you would you would turn on your computer and you would like walk away for a while because it would take a while until it started up. Like that's how long the startup process used to take.
yeah, no.
Or if somebody called you too many times, you get kicked off the internet.
Yeah, well, there's the internet issue too, but I just mean even just booting up your computer. Back in the old days when they were using like even before Windows 95, it was called Windows 3.1, and like it would start up in MS-DOS, and it would take a while.
Whoa.
Dial-up is still like an option where I live. I have like,
kind of cool.
yeah, but what use would it be nowadays?
If we had like a really crazy disaster, maybe you could use a landline to connect back to the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it'd be better to get like the Verizon home Wi-Fi or like Starlink or something.
Yeah, but then I think we need to start thinking about like what is going to happen in these wars, because obviously it's just getting worse out there. It looks like India and Pakistan are going to start throwing hands, and their nuclear powers. Like, what do we have to worry about breaking down in our society? The most vulnerable piece of infrastructure is the internet, and the satellites are pretty easy to take down if they wanted to.
If we had a crazy like war, I wish I was not married.
You're gonna wish you were me, right? The single Dan.
Dan's gonna be doing all the raping and pillaging.
I'm the time of my life. Clay's like just trying to survive with his wife and kid.
Yeah.
I had the time of my life.
I would probably just leave the country, honestly.
Do you think I'd make a good warlord, Terry? Like a benevolent warlord, you know, like
a sensitive warlord.
Yeah, I'm
if you're trying
sensitive.
to be a benevolent warlord, you're in like the wrong business. You can't like be soft with people when you're a warlord.
Well,
I mean, you got to take care of your own, obviously. You got to have some heart, but like, I don't know. It's tough.
I think the best thing would just be to leave.
Where are you going to go, Clay?
The Philippines. It'd be like Sodom and Gomorrah, like leave and don't look back.
I don't want to leave my country.
Yeah, but especially where you live, like, let's say something went down, like, what are you fighting for? A bunch of like fags and weirdos.
Those are my people.
We don't even care. After China like does their thing, then these same people are gonna be like, communism is still like the way. It's just never been implemented correctly.
Yeah, but Clay, think about what the Philippines is and what China's going to do to it in World War III. Like, they're going to try to take that place over.
They would all die before they did that. They hate communists.
Who hates communists?
The Philippines.
Yeah, the Philippines.
When I was at the police station, they have like wanted posters on the wall, and it's like the Old West where it's just like reward like 5 million pesos dead or alive, and it's like a picture of somebody, and it'll be like wanted for communism and like treason and stuff, and it's like the guerrilla like militant groups, you know, in Mindanao. But it's like they're so serious about it there that if you just like preach communism to college kids, they'll like want to kill you.
Whoa, I don't think that's right.
Tar Baby Yoda in the chat is asking for what a mandingo fight between Clay and I would be, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I'm okay with like these other matchups, but I don't want to be matched up against Clay.
I don't even know what Mandingo means.
It's like from not Inglorious Bastards. It's
Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
No.
Oh, man, I remember watching that movie. I got very drunk.
Is that what the slave fighting is called? Is Mandingo?
I think so. Yeah.
Inglorious Bastards is called a Mexican standoff. Where he's just like, we got us a Mexican standoff here.
Yeah. I've never actually seen a Mexican standoff, but I've heard of them so often.
Whoa. Western liberal trash everywhere.
Yeah.
It tax American expats because they're just going there. They just sneak into the country, you know, and they like use up all the resources, you know.
They put in the youth with their ideologies.
Well, no, all the Americans that are like just living in Mexico, like without any papers or that kind of thing.
It is true though. When all these like third world countries I've ever been to, there's always like expats, and they're like fucking hippies that try to like ruin everyone.
That's true.
They don't like go somewhere and be like, oh, I really love these people and this culture and I want to try to blend in. It's like just like the Mexicans are here where they're like, we want to turn this into like San Francisco. Yeah. like you know the problem with the Mexicans in America is they don't want to like assimilate and like become American. Well, that's like how these weird hippies are in like Colombia and stuff in Asia.
So Golden Rule TV, India launched missiles into Pakistan because there was a terrorist attack in India in the Kashmir region, I think. And
yeah, this 2 weeks ago. And what they did is it was basically like a Hamas raid in Israel that started that. So they like stopped everybody, I guess, apparently, and all the men. They asked if they were Muslim, and if they said yeah, they would like pull their dicks out and make sure they're circumcised, because I guess Hindus don't get circumcised. And then if they weren't circumcised, they just killed them, and they killed like all the men in that area.
Wow.
If they weren't circumcised, they killed them.
Yeah, because I guess that's what it said. Because like
so
some
you
reason,
get circumcision in Islam.
Yeah.
I guess
I had no idea about that. Well,
No.
I would imagine they didn't because they're so dirty.
yeah,
like they're dirty people.
Assumed that they didn't get circumcised.
Did I notify you of that this morning, or did you already know before I sent you that?
About what?
About India bombing Pakistan.
Oh, I already knew about that. I try to be on the pulse of those kind of things because basically India was giving Pakistan like a week or two to actually sort it out themselves. They're like, if you can bring these people to justice, we won't do anything. And they said, like, you guys didn't do anything, so now we're going to bomb your country. And now Pakistan's like, you can't bomb us. Who do you think you are? We didn't actually do this to you. It's the terrorists.
China and India are like arch enemies. And China backed Pakistan and provided them with all the shit that, I don't know if you're watching, but it's like turning out to be like junk. Like, did you see one of their jets like got shut down easily? And then they have like an air defense missile system from China, just like Israel's, but it didn't work at all.
What is that called again? Is it Temu? What was it? Shop Temu, where you get these inferior products and you get to your Temu F-16. It's like, here, this is a real jet. And it's like, it was cheap, but all right.
What do they call it in Israel? The Iron Dome. That's like apparently what China gave Pakistan, but it didn't work.
That's cute with those eyes.
Well, it's smart to do that because then you can test out that system to see if there's any kinks in it. And clearly, there's kinks in it.
In terms of manpower, if China really does just have a bunch of fake shit, India like surpasses China in manpower, so they would probably win if they went to war. because there's more. India's population is like greater. I think it's like 2.4 billion or something, but they passed up China.
They definitely do. And China actually has been inflating their numbers. They don't have as many people as they're saying they do.
Especially after that one child policy stuff for years and years.
They're having a problem with population now.
That's what a lot of them commie countries like North Korea. If you look at their military numbers, they have like the largest military in the world. But everybody has to be in the military, and then you have to be in the reserves until I think like 62 or something.
Nice.
So it's like not legit. They're just counting all their people.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, if it came down to a real war, we'll see some different figures. The United States will actually look pretty good because we're actually fighting, and
then shitty countries like North Korea too. I would imagine like a large percentage of their military forces would want to defect as soon as they got an opportunity.
Well, yeah,
like
the
Russia
North
with the guy.
Yeah, they go into Ukraine and they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my God, we're addicted to porn," and then they want to like. Did you see that Korean guy who surrendered and he was like asking Ukraine to send him to South Korea because South Korea will take in North Koreans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, wait till he gets to South Korea and has to deal with the 4B women.
I don't know. He's gonna go to Jeju Island and be blown away by all the statues.
Jeju Island, is that a thing?
Jeju. Yeah, it's like a very popular tourist area in South Korea.
Okay.
It's like near Hawaii, but all over the island, statues of like penises and balls. And you're like, why? You're like, why is this here? And they're like, back in the day, this was a fishing island, and they thought it would bring in schools of fish. And you're just like, what? Okay, that makes sense.
The fish goes to school.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, we got a full chat.
You seen the Jeju Island statues, Dan?
No.
You should have get a Jeju Island statue tattoo on you.
Smokey is telling me about Jamie. I guess they used to debate free grace service.
I don't know whether that's actually Smokey. I don't know whether that's actually. I don't know whether that's actually Smokey saying though. He doesn't normally have polemics at the end of his name. It could be. It might be a different account, but it also might not be Smokey saying. Yeah.
Do Daniel and Clay believe that from Palestine to Mexico, these border walls have got to go?
Oh no.
No, it's okay to have border walls.
I do wish America would like streamline their immigration process though for people who wanted to do it legally. Because like let's say like my parents, if I wanted to like sponsor, like if you wanted to sponsor a parent or sibling to come here, it'd be like a 15-year process for them to like legally come here.
Well, are you on methamphetamine?
No, I used to be. I've not had any for ages. Years.
Oh wow, you used to do meth?
Dang.
We just call it amphetamine over here. I don't know if it was meth.
You call it speed ever?
Everyone that believes does meth. It's not fair. I don't want to do it though.
No, you shouldn't do that, Terry. You shouldn't do
I
meth.
don't want to do meth. I'm too delicate to do meth.
Don't do it.
I don't want to.
Just stay away from the Terry.
People that are on it and they look rough, I don't even want to look at them in the eye.
It does have my teeth.
I know this guy who took meth and just said it's like a weight loss supplement.
Yeah, it keeps you awake for days and it's not good. No, don't start to be.
No, I need my rest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be wrapping up the stream, once 9 o'clock hits too.
If you didn't want to like,
what is that for you? Is that in like 15 minutes?
Yeah, or 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah. It'll be midnight here. So I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. But
are you still not drinking, Wild Heart?
Yes. I'm in prehab. I've been today and I'm going tomorrow, and I'm waiting to get into rehab. Yeah, I'm still not drinking.
Yeah. It really sucks. You think when you go from getting fucked up every day to sober, you're like, life sucks and it's shitty, but then it gets better after like a few months.
Yeah.
And then you have more excitement and shit again, and you're not so bored.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm hoping so. And thank you for that. Yeah, that's encouraging. It is pretty shit at the moment, to be fair.
Well, you'll end up having a lot more time.
Yeah.
So
just
it's
like initially, you're gonna be like,
what do I do
in
with
a
all this
funk.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I know what I'd normally be doing for this like block of 4 or 5 hours, but now I got to do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pinocchio.
Cheers, Pinocchios. Thank you. Yeah, so the rehab is going to be like 3 months, so that'll keep me busy. That's like actually living, so yeah.
Well, that's what's nice about rehab. I never went to rehab, but like they give you like activities and stuff. They give you something to fill your time with and things to think about to motivate you. I'm sure, but like afterwards, you'll have to come up with what you want to do with like your life, and that could be reading a lot. That could be like maybe getting into something creative.
Yeah.
You could get back into what you were doing before, like plaster and stuff.
You could make money. That's what a lot of people do is they'll use the time to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got a bad back, so I can't go into the plastering. I was thinking of doing like volunteer work and then looking for a job, maybe in technology, like computers.
Do they have shit there like they have in America, like AA and NA and stuff, where you just...
Yeah, we have a lot. Yeah, I've been to a few of the meetings, actually. I've got queuing.
I got the AA book, and Nurse gave it to me.
Oh, I got the NH, but
when you go, you gotta try to find someone to 13th step.
Narcotics Anonymous, because I was on cocaine as well.
If you know what the 13th step is.
No, they only go 12. What's the 13th step?
It's when you like sponsor somebody and then bang them. I'm serious. That's it. They call it the 13th step. You could be like, I 13th step that broad.
I'm looking forward to that now. Yeah, I was going to give
a real thing, dude. You call them, they'll call and they'll be like, I'm so bored. I think I should use again. And then you're just like, come over.
Come over right now. Like I know what will get your mind off of that.
It's gonna make her want to use.
No, not if he does it right.
They never mentioned that in the book. Oh,
the unwritten book. But that's not some shit I'm just making up. That's like a real thing, and everyone calls it the 13th step.
Yeah.
Don't get me hopes up.
Everyone knows that happens in AA, and there's also like they'll enable each other too. Like the sponsor will like, we can have a little drink tonight, but we won't tell anybody.
When I was first single, I went to an NA meeting because in my head I was like, I could get like a vulnerable chick that doesn't want to be here, but the courts make it. And then like as soon as I got there, I realized like, yeah, this is a terrible idea. And then I didn't do it.
Yeah, classy man.
I don't know. But from being in that shit before, I seen like how it was.
Yeah.
Or at least here in America, like probably 95% of the people there don't want to be there, but they're like required to for part of their probation or whatever.
No, this is very much voluntary. There might be a couple like that, but I think most of them are voluntarily. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the opposite, where like most of them it's not voluntary, and then only a couple it is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
and then you get these weirdos who like their whole life they blame everything on because they were like an alcoholic or drug addict.
Yeah.
So like they were 10 years, and then they'll like walk out on their wife and kids and be like, I'm still in recovery and I need to focus on myself, and they'll try to like justify it.
Yeah.
I hate when people use like psychological terminology to justify their horrible things towards other people.
I know.
Like, oh, I just need to work on myself or something, and it's just like, what you mean is you're going to completely like cut me out of your life. Why?
That don't jive
Well,
with like the old
because
drug use.
I'm just dealing with stuff. Like
The
yeah,
old,
that's
a lot of them reformed addicts and alcoholics and shit. They'll use their prior addiction as like an excuse for why they can be irresponsible like their whole life.
Yeah, I need the excuse not to
That guy.
talk to people is basically what they're saying. Yeah.
It's like the preachy ones where they're like, I had my last drink 11 years ago.
Going to AA to pick up women is wild. Maybe
it's gonna be 3 years in November for me.
because I'm go wild. That's all.
I still drink, but maybe like I probably only truly get drunk like maybe once a month.
Yeah, sorry, Dan, I overtaught you then. That seemed quite important. I only heard the last bit. Can you repeat?
All I said was it's gonna be 3 years for me in November.
Oh, well done.
Since I drank, yeah.
Yeah, well done. That's cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, I don't know how I do it without God. So, like, I don't know if I'm like the best person to talk to, especially if you're an atheist, because like my advice is going to be like, yeah, God will save you from this. Just put
Yeah.
your trust in the Lord and have Him fill you, because I think that's what's missing. Is it's a spiritual illness. At least it was for me.
Well, how do you?
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
how do you tell the difference between you believing in God and you believing that God did it and God actually doing it? Is there any way to differentiate between the two? You thinking it's God and it actually being God? Is
How
there
could
any
it
way?
be God if you're not a Calvinist and you think we have free will?
I don't think we have free will, but for different reasons.
No, I'm talking to Danielle.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, talking to me. I'm not a Calvinist.
No, I know, but I said,
An
how can you
Orthodox.
say you're not a Calvinist if you think God had something to do with your sobriety?
Oh, because sovereignty and free will both simultaneously exist in Orthodoxy. We don't say that like everything is predetermined. We know that God controls all things, but we also have free will. Because God is all powerful, He can somehow make both work.
Yeah.
That sounds on its face. I don't want to be argumentative, but that sounds on its face.
Yes, gorgeous, working on himself.
That
Sorry.
that sounds on its face impossible. God is in control of everything, but we have free will. It's one or the other. It can't be both.
You know
Logically, maybe not.
Well,
what?
yeah.
In the same predicament that Eve found herself when you were seeking all that knowledge, you could have been in blissful ignorance, but you just got to keep going after, trying to figure it out when you could just relax.
Yeah, using my brain, trying to think about things. I know that's not.
You're stressing yourself out.
There's nothing wrong with using your brain, but you need to trust God. You can have both.
So do you think?
In rehab, if they make you do the 12 steps, one of those steps has to do with like believing in a higher power.
Yeah, but do you believe, Dan, that God can do the logically impossible? Could He make
yeah.
it possible? Yeah.
Yeah, like He rose from the dead. That's logically impossible, I would say too.
It's not logically impossible.
Yeah,
It's physically impossible. It's not logically impossible.
You know what's
So what's the
crazy about
difference
that,
between
Waller?
physical impossible and logical impossible? Because like this is an interesting point because I talked about this a little bit on another stream with a guy named Howdy. What is the difference, between physical impossibility and logical impossibility?
Like logical impossible means it's logically impossible. You cannot make a square circle. You cannot make a married bachelor. It's actually because they directly contradict each other.
Yeah, but physically you can't do those either.
No, but physical possibility would be people don't rise from the dead after 3 days. So that would be physically impossible, but there's no logical contradiction. If people physically rose from the dead after 3 days,
but
then
how
they
can
would
he be
rise from the dead. But
to me, physically seems like something that's logically possible. Like, for example, if you're rolling dice, like rolling 7 100 times in a row, like it should be possible, but it'll never happen.
No, if you
No.
statistically improbable?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you roll dice forever for the rest of for infinity, it's not only statistically likely, it's statistically it has to happen if you do it for
It won't though, because then you have to take into account like probability. So like
that's what I'm saying.
That's like the example I always hear is like when it relates to gambling. It's like because I had a system where I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait every time roulette lands. I'm gonna pick a color, and when it lands on this color 3 times in a row, then I'm gonna bet on the opposite color, and if it loses, I'm gonna double up my bet, and it works pretty well.
No, I'm just saying, Terry, is that a massive troll? And what's that thing in your hand?
So, yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a lot of stuff there to unpack, but I think when it comes to free will and God's sovereignty, it's not necessarily illogical, but it's extremely hard for the mind to wrap your mind around, because basically God can have foreknowledge of what happens, but he doesn't actually make the choice. We make the choice. He just knows what choices we're making. But that's like kind of hard to get your brain around.
Yeah, but if he has a plan and his plan must come true, if we have free will, then it's logically possible that a human could do something to thwart God's plan. But if God's plan has to come true, then we can't have free will, because we couldn't do anything that goes against God's plan.
But you know what?
But it's still a choice.
Our little free will is like less than God's, though, because we got less power. So it's kind of like, the difference between like, okay, like when like your cat doesn't want to go to the vet, and you get out the little carrier, and it's like, they're going to fight you. They're going to try and thwart your plans. They're going to try and hide under the bed or in the closet, or they're going to scratch you. But eventually, you're going to get that cat in that dang carrier, and you're going to the vet.
Oh, no. If we have free will, you could.
And that's how God is. Yeah.
If you have free will, you could choose. Oh, I can't be asked with it. Can't be bothered getting this cat into this carrier.
Okay, but I'm positioning myself as God, right?
I know.
And my cat is human.
That's why it doesn't work.
No, my thing works.
Your plan is to get the cat to the vet. But as a human,
God's plan
has to come true. But I'm saying, as a human, if you have free will, you could choose with free will to just give up and not take the cat to the vets, which would thwart God's plan.
But no, you're not understanding. No, you're not understanding. No, Wild Heart. Okay, the cat is a human in the scenario, and I'm God.
I know.
So why would God change his will when he's the one that has all the power?
No, it's the human what's changing his will. The human.
What?
The cat doesn't want to go to the vet.
Yeah, the human don't want to go along with God's plan, but you know what? God's plan is going to come through anyway.
Well, the cat using its free will nips out through the door, and you can't catch him, and then he's gone, and then you can't take him to the vet. Therefore, thwarting your plan as God to take him to the vet.
Dang it, Wild Heart. No.
What?
No.
The point is that she does get her way in the analogy.
And then there's going to be hell.
Well, in the analogy, I've just given the way in which you wouldn't get your way, which is why it's logically impossible.
It's not logically impossible. My thing made sense. I'm trying to break it down so you'll understand it.
No, I don't understand that.
There's another angle here that.
What if the cat nips outside?
Well, say the cat has a cat flat, and the cat goes outside and runs away, and you can't find it.
We don't have a cat flat.
Then your ultimate plan as God to take the cat to the vets will be thwarted. Therefore, humans with free will could thwart God's ultimate plan, which doesn't happen.
So,
Yoda, we should just force him by the sword.
There's something that's really. Yeah, there's something really important here to keep in mind. So, like, free will does not mean unlimited will. Like, free will does not mean that if I want to, I will fly through the air right now. I'll shoot lasers out of my eyes. I might want that all day, but it's not going to happen. So, just because we have free will doesn't mean we have unlimited power and that we can somehow change things. We have a choice that we make. God knows what these choices are going to be. And of course, God is all powerful, so he can work around them and use those choices. The idea that we would have to experiment and kind of see, well, could I have gone left instead of right in like a different universe to test out whether or not free will exists? It's something that we can never actually do anyway. So it kind of is a moot point. But it also kind of gets into the very philosophy of what is free will. Free will
Yeah.
isn't the ability to do things. Free will
Well,
is the fact that we make a choice between things.
yeah.
Even if we can't make the other
Yeah.
choice, that doesn't actually matter. It matters is that you made the choice.
It's funny when Christians, I think they know they're wrong and they won't stop talking to let you answer because they know they're wrong. I think on
No,
the subject.
I'm right.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is, if God has a plan and that plan must come to fruition, then no matter what any human does in any situation, that can never go against God's plan. Therefore, we have no free will.
No, again, you're attaching the ability to do things to your free will. All that matters in free will is that you make a choice, whether or not that choice
Yeah.
will come to fruition or not.
But I don't have the choice to go against what God has already planned, do I? I couldn't thwart God's
But
plan.
you don't know what God's plan is.
I know, but if I choose to do something that would thwart God's plan, I couldn't do that, so I don't have free will.
Well, I can't fly through the air either. That doesn't mean that I don't have free will. It just means that there's a limit to my capabilities. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the fact that we choose between how we react to love is exactly what God gave us.
So we have free will under the condition that it doesn't thwart God's plan. So we have free will. So we have free will as long as it's pointless.
Why
If
you
it
want to
doesn't-
God's plan?
If you wanted to thwart God's plan, you're going to fail, just like Satan does.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't do anything with my free will to thwart God's plan.
Correct.
So
Just like you don't have the free will to turn into a gorilla right now. You just don't.
So how is that free will?
So again, just because you don't have the ability to turn into a gorilla at Wild Heart doesn't mean you don't have free will. Just because you can't lift a mountain doesn't mean you don't have free will.
If God knows what I'm going to do before I do it, how do I have free will? I can't thwart God's plan. I can't thwart God's knowledge. If he knows that I'm going to have Rice Krispies for breakfast tomorrow, I cannot choose not to have Rice Krispies. Because he already knows that I'm going to have Rice Krispies. So I have no free will.
Even a mother has this kind of sense with their children where they know them so well that they know what choices they're going to make. So that you know that if you put them in this situation, what are they going to do?
Could I prove?
Hello. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Josh.
Looking for.
Daniel, you have a problem with your rhetoric. You have a problem with your rhetoric because according to the scripture says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if the Bible is true, then I should be able to turn to a gorilla through Christ, right?
I'm sure
you're misunderstanding what is meant by through Christ I can do all things. Through Christ we can do things for through Christ we can do all things that are in the benefit of our salvation. We can't use Christ to do bad things. There is no evil in Christ.
How is turning into a gorilla a bad thing?
I'm sorry to be rude, Terry, on the channel. I apologise, but I'm sure me and Dan were in the middle of a discussion when Josh joined and rudely interrupted and completely destroyed the conversation. That is
No. This conversation's boring.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, we got new guests. We got Josh and Chase.
I'm just saying, if I want to turn into a gorilla, I'm going to buy a gorilla suit and I'm going to be a gorilla.
That wouldn't make you gorilla. That would make you human in a gorilla suit.
Okay. So I can't just say I'm a man, or I can't just say I'm a woman. Instead of, you just destroyed the whole trans community. Way to go, Wildheart.
Wow. You've been trying to do that for years. No, I'm not. No. But Christians have been trying to destroy the trans community
Thanks
for
for
years.
backing me up,
I've done it in
CS.
one
I
sentence.
knew
That's
it
quite
was
impressive. That's quite impressive. Christians have
What?
been trying to do something for years, and I've done it in one sentence without even trying. That's
Wait,
quite
what did I do? What did I do? What have I been trying to do?
No, just said I've just destroyed the trans community in one sentence.
You did.
Christians have been trying to do that for like decades.
Well,
I'm
by
not
destroy,
arguing.
you just showed the flaws in it. The Christians have already done that.
I'm just saying it's quite impressive that I've done in one sentence what Christians have been trying to do for 30, 40 years. I'm quite believing myself.
So do you agree, Wildheart? Do you agree that a man isn't a woman just because he gets breast implants and changes his name? Dude, that doesn't make him a woman, right?
Terry, please. Can we get back to the free will thing?
You can answer the question, Wildheart.
What was the question?
I don't know. He's asking about some perverted stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, so if a man gets breast implants and changes their name, does that suddenly make them a woman?
No.
Changes her name.
Well, there you go. I don't know why you need to have this conversation.
Dang, Wildheart said trans rights. He stood on business.
Well, I just said if a man changes her name. You said if a man changes her name, so is it a man or a woman?
I don't think a man
if he changes her name.
or a woman can become a man, just like a penguin can't become an ostrich or a
I get the argument. I'm just pointing out that Josh just said
or a boy penguin can't become a girl penguin.
If he changes her name, then I get lost at that point because I can't get that right. If he changes her name, then is she trans or not? Is she a man or a woman?
Hey, Adrian in the chat wants to ask you what is a woman.
I don't know, but man, I feel like a woman.
But Wahar, here's the real question. Wahar. Why do you even want free will? We know you make bad decisions. Why should your life be up to you? Isn't it better to have a all-knowing, all-loving God that's making decisions for you? Isn't that better than you? You made Wahar. You made your own decisions all this time. You've been making your own decisions. Where has it got you? Where has free will got you, Wahar?
Why is it that Christians ask a question and then I get like one word into a sentence and then they immediately start talking again?
Why? Because you are incapable of listening. So the question needs to be repeated to you 1,000 times.
Question, right, Josh? I know this is basic, but the way a conversation works, if you ask me a question, presumably you want to know the answer. Therefore, you should give me opportunity to answer, rather than letting me say one word and then interrupting me to ask me a different question or change the
topic. All right,
topic.
let's try it out. Let's start over. I'll ask the question, I'll wait, and then you respond.
Okay.
Why do you even want free will if clearly you're no good at making decisions?
Because I want to be in control of my own destiny. Would you want your parents to choose what job you have or who you married?
Yeah, if they knew better than me, yes, of course. If my parents know what's good for me, then I'm gonna trust their judgment.
Right, so you'll be happy if your parents made every decision for you in life.
That would be so easy. I wouldn't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat. I wouldn't have to worry about what I'm gonna wear. I could just be a robot. That's what you want, right? Right, Wahar?
Yeah, you'll be a mindless, unthinking being, which, with Christianity, that's pretty much what you are.
Hey, I'm not mindless or unthinking.
Free will is integral to Christian theology. The Calvinists are heretics.
But I'm saying,
Daniel, don't you agree with me? Is not God's plan for us better than the plans that we have for ourselves?
100%.
Right, so you have no free will. And if God has a plan for your life, and that plan has to come to fruition,
you can use your free will to submit to God's will and to trust His will.
Yeah, but the thing is,
You're saying that
You
God
keep
makes all the choices for you, therefore you have no free will.
What's that, Woodhard? I couldn't hear you.
You're saying that God makes all your choices for you. He's in control of your life. He has a plan for your life. What is that noise from? That's very annoying.
Probably feedback. So I asked for God's grace, and I try to follow His will as much as I can.
Right.
So I don't do it perfectly. I still sin.
So you want God to be in control of your life 100% perfectly. So you want to not have free will. In a perfect world, God would choose every decision.
It's not that I don't want free will. It's that I would use my free will to defer to God's judgment. Remember,
and
free will is not the capability to do things. Free will is simply a choice.
Which is completely. Honestly, that noise is really annoying. Whoever's doing it. And he's laughing so he knows he's doing it.
Wow, you're literally wow, you are literally
Shut the fuck up.
wow, you're doing the same thing you're accusing other people of doing. Daniel's talking in the middle of a sentence. You're doing it to me right now. So how about you learn how to shut the fuck up, Wildheart? How about that?
I was telling the guy with the noise.
Do you have the free will to shut your mouth? You probably don't, huh? You just got to.
You were laughing, so you knew that you were doing it. Stop being ignorant and mute. Or shut the fuck up. Not
bro,
you, Josh.
You're just mad at Chase because he has an American flag on his shirt, bro, and you're British and nobody cares
it's
about
because
the
he's
Brits.
annoying. He knows he's being annoying and refuses to stop being annoying. That's why I'm mad at him.
I could say the same thing about you, Wildheart. You know you're being annoying and you refuse to. What? Why? It takes one to know one.
I'm not going to go at you, Josh, you thick cunt.
Answer the question, Wildheart. Why do you want free will? So you can fucking
guys.
smoke crack all day?
You guys have a great night. It's past midnight for me. I got to wake up in like a little over 5 hours. So see ya.
Take care, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.
Okay.
Clearly, you have some beef with Chase, so I'm gonna let you guys work that out.
I don't even know Chase, but
No, okay, no. Now you want to run.
No beef, no
Chase
drama.
what you said. Tell Chase what you got to say.
No, I was just saying. I said whoever's making that noise, please stop. And then he didn't. And then I said whoever's making that noise, please stop. And he started laughing, clearly showing that he knew he was making that noise. Knew he was doing it on purpose, just to be annoying. In my mind, that makes you an annoying cunt.
No, you're misunderstanding. He was laughing at the comment that Cecil left him.
Yeah, man, I'm not in the mood for drama. I'm trying to be happy.
Yeah, Chase is just learning how to use this technology.
In that case, I apologize if you're laughing at something else. That's how it came across to me, but I could have been wrong. I apologize. That was my fault.
You know what happens when you assume, Wildheart?
Yeah, it makes an ass out of you.
You and me. Please don't make an ass out of me, sir.
You. It makes an ass out of you. I always get that wrong. I always presume. Presume makes a pre out of Sue and me. I always get that wrong. Yeah.
It makes a president out of you and me.
Yeah. I might actually get made.
Oh, that was dumb. Okay. Yeah, it's tough. He probably got high cortisol. Do you have high cortisol? Have you gotten your hormones checked, Wildheart? How's your T levels?
T levels? I think quite high in English. My T levels are quite high.
Okay.
I drink a lot of tea.
What about your cortisol? You got
My
high cortisol? Because you pop off like real quick.
Well, let's not get sensitive about it. How do you know that I pop off quite quick?
Huh?
How do you know that I pop off quite quick? Let's not get personal.
I don't mean anything. I meant like, get.
I mean, 2 to 3 minutes.
Something.
2 to 3 minutes. I think that's average. No.
I don't mean anything S-wordual.
Okay. I think I'm doing good.
Wildheart just turned 20. Happy birthday.
I'm actually 43, but that's very kind of
You
you.
got a birthday coming up too, Wildheart, don't you?
Erectile dysfunction.
No, you got a birthday coming up this
Oh
month.
yeah, sorry, that's the 18th of June. Yeah,
Dang.
I'll be 34. 43. Sorry. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I'll be 44. I'll be 44 in June.
34. Oh, it should be 34.
Yeah.
You're 34.
I don't remember 34. I don't remember basically 14. No.
I do.
Shit, I wish I was 3 years younger.
I'm okay. I'm happy with where I'm at.
What are you, like 41?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm still in my 30s.
I thought you were okay. 30.
She's been,
Huh?
she's
I
been in
could have swore you said you were older than me in Hake's chat.
I am older than you.
So you're 38 or 39 if you're not 40.
Right. That's right.
Oh, well then, yeah, you're not that old.
38 or 39. She's been 38 or 39 for like 20 years. That's the problem.
I have not been 39 for 20
I'm
years.
joking. You're gorgeous.
I am one of these women that's insecure about my age. I earned every one of these years.
Yeah. You earned every wrinkle on that.
Better than I did 10 years ago. I'm doing all right.
Don't go on the whatever podcast and say that.
I know. I might have some like moron just tell me some dumbass shit if that isn't even true. That he just thinks as his opinion. And then I'll be surrounded by a bunch of thoughts. And then I'll get some guy coming in like, what? What?
You've worked for the whole thing.
You have
you
have an identity outside of what I say?
I'm joking, sir.
You have a life that you've built for yourself outside of my opinions. I did see a video. I saw a clip of them, and now I keep getting like more and more clips sent my way. But there was this like old lady that was on the show. I don't know what it was.
That old Israeli lady?
I don't know.
Was she?
Maybe.
Was she? What did she have an accent, or was she just like?
No, she sounded American.
So she was just a white lady, just a random white lady.
Yeah, she was just a white lady.
Get in.
Oh,
so.
You mean that one in Texas that was a troll? That one that big fat one that was a troll? Oh.
I don't know. She was a little fat, but not like really fat. She was like, like how your aunt's fat. Like she's a little fat, but she's not like obese,
Yeah.
Just that postmenopausal bod going on.
Not sure the state of my life, but I'm just quite happy that I found half a cigarette paper in my.
Nice, Wildheart.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the shop to open.
You roll your own?
Yeah. That's the state of my life at the moment.
Terry, I had a cigar saved the next time you were going to go live, but I smoked it already.
Oh, dang. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been busy lately.
No, you came on. You came on that night like 12:30, and shit, I was doing something.
Get in.
I was doing. Oh, what do they want me to come on here and start arguing with you or something?
Is that true? Is that true?
I got laid like 3 hours ago. I'm in a good ass mood. I'm not going to argue with anyone.
You had a baby? Did you say you had a baby? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Gone now. I can show you what she looks like, but I'd be doxing her. And
don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. No. But yeah. Congrats. That's really cool.
I wouldn't want to go on that show. I don't like the whole premise of it. Like, I don't know. The whole premise of that show is weird to me.
I mean, it's.
No.
I think that they're just trying to roast the OF girls, though, and a lot of women will take it as if they're roasting all women. They're not doing that. They're just trying to call out the OF stuff.
Spit. You mean spit roasting? Spit roasting all women.
Yeah, well, they're spit roasting in the chat, like before, but that's just the fucking chat. I mean, a lot of those people are just saying shit just because it's chat and you can.
Yeah, no, I go off in the chat when I'm in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. That's the whole reason of going into a YouTube chat.
I get my little troll on.
Get your troll on.
Yeah. I don't know, Seesaw. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna be so busy. I mean, they're chilling. They'll probably, late at night, they'll be sleeping, and I'll be like passed out.
Will you turn into was it Peggy Bundy when you're married with children?
I probably will.
Yeah.
Iron Man. How you doing?
I am Iron Man.
Oh, I'm doing fairly well. I just thought I'd come in and check up on this Wildy over here.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, he says sure. Not too bad, thanks.
Okay, well, I figured I'd check up on you after that stream.
Oh, what happened? What stream?
Was there a roast?
The one you were on, Wilkin Cades?
Oh, Wilkin Cades, yeah. See, I think I kicked their asses. And they think by over talking me, like me get a word out, they won.
Apart. Come on.
I think that's what happened.
You know that I beat you fair and square yesterday when I was on your show.
With which argument? Yeah, I mean, you could have done. I'm not.
You were all like, God committed genocide, and I was like,
yeah, he did.
So what? It was the right thing to do, and then I honed you.
That's where we disagree. Genocide is never right.
It is if you're dealing with a bunch of Nephilim. I don't want no Nephilim running around the earth.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it, but yeah, when you say you won the debate,
freaks running around the earth all giant-sized with like.
You say you won the debate.
Necks and like cyclops and like.
When you say you won the debate, what you mean is I disagree with you, and you won't let me get a sentence out in order to explain that. That's what you mean by winning the debate. It means you just talk.
I had you pissing yourself laughing.
Oh, that's
10 minutes at a time. So I think I won.
Yeah, no, that's a win for everyone. Yeah.
Whoa, Yoda's ticked. Yeah, the giants. Yeah, some of them are cyclops, but like the Nephilim looked all kinds of freaky. Because like they had syphilis too. Is that where it comes from, Arcalunas? From the Nephilim?
Yeah, like monkey heads.
Yes.
There's a lot of weird stuff about the Nephilim. You can read into a lot of stuff they wrote about it, all the way down to the Egyptian gods, to some of them weren't giant, to Nephilim still exist and they're all like in the Illuminati and shit like that. It gets weird. It gets real weird.
And can I just say that, Baby Yoda? Yeah, this is Gigi's atheist piece of shit friend. Are you addressing me? It's fine if you are. I would possibly agree. I'm just checking. Yeah. I'm an atheist. I'm Gigi's friend. Piece of shit is debatable. But,
hey, man, if you want to be an atheist, be an atheist. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care, Wildheart. I don't want you to be without God in your life.
Yeah.
Life is better when you got a relationship with the living God.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never met or spoke to God, so it's difficult for me. It's difficult for me to have a relationship with something that I've never spoken to or interacted with.
No.
Have you ever spoke to God?
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, does he speak back?
Only once.
Yeah. What happened?
Do you want me to tell you the story about when I heard the voice of God?
Yes.
Some of the people in my chat probably heard it before because I told them about it a long time ago.
They don't matter, the chat rats.
No, my chat matters to me. That's why I have an active chat, because I pay attention to them.
Yeah, no, they're fine, but I want to hear it. I've not heard it before. When did God speak to and how?
Okay, listen. Okay, so like, I don't know. I was looking in the mirror, like, you know, and I saw what my spirit really looked like.
Yeah.
And it scared the hell out of me because I was like, I
then
looked evil. And then I was like, you know, and then God was like I felt God, like I felt this like fatherly presence kind of pull my head back, and he's like, I just was like, it wasn't just that I looked evil, I was like, I look so ugly, you know.
So when you say you talk to God,
yeah, no, listen, while I'm not done. And I felt like him, I felt this like, you know, like I guess like the spirit like pull my head back, and he was like, yeah, you are ugly, but I'm not done with you yet, basically.
yeah, let's have that.
Yeah, it was like I heard the voice in my head.
So you're all loving, all powerful God that you worship. I know you're.
He showed me my self-wild heart so that I could repent. He showed me how ugly I was. Because you don't see people.
You're all loving, all powerful God.
You don't see the real them. You know?
If I could clarifying question. So you're all loving, all powerful God that you worship. Basically came down to you, and by you looking in the mirror, look, bitch, you're ugly, but we can work on it.
Yeah, basically wild heart. That's right.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And now look at me.
Nice guy. Yeah.
Now look at me. But I tell you what, wild heart.
Look, bitch. What you Yeah, what you about? We can work on it and make it better. Yeah, I'd worship that being.
I mean, Terry, that could have been sleep paralysis too.
Well, I wasn't asleep. I was awake. I went into the bathroom, like I was just chilling, and like I was getting ready to like do my hair, do my makeup, and I just like I was looking in the mirror, and like it went from like my face to like it was still me though. I recognized myself. It wasn't like I knew it was me. Like, you know, because I recognized all my sin on my face, and like I saw myself. I recognized.
And you were so
like, that's the real me.
100% sober.
Yeah, I was sober.
So, but for me, if anyone called me a bitch,
I've had a lot of like mystical
interrupting me. I'm sure I was in the middle of a sentence there.
Serious, I told you. There's no, clairvoyancy is a real thing. That's a very real thing.
So do you imagine just not?
And I deny that it's real. I've seen a lot of shit in it. But I mean, it's just like, are you sure that was God? Are you sure that was God talking to you and not some kind of?
I'm not sure, but I felt like it was God because after like that was when I repented. I felt like it was the only time I would say I've heard God's voice, because like I prayed, you know, like and I get what he says, that God's voice is a voiceless voice. I totally get that, but I do think sometimes you can, when he needs you to see something, that he'll intervene like that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I like what Jesse says a lot, because when he says God's voice is a voiceless voice, that makes more sense to me. If you trust what Jesse says, you trust that that's a voiceless God. And if you heard a voice say you were ugly or this, are you sure that wasn't like ego? And I mean, I'm not
I know it was. I know for me, it like really convicted me that God loved me, though, because it was like, you know, despite how like ugly I was, like, and that I saw it and he saw it too. Like he still wasn't done with me yet. He had better work for me.
Well, how would God see you as ugly?
Because of my sin.
So God came down to you with a voiceless voice, told you an ugly bitch, and you worshipped him.
He didn't call me a bitch. He didn't call me a B word.
Oh,
I was the one who called myself ugly, okay? And
a voiceless voice from God came down and said, "Listen, ugly. Listen, ugly."
He just agreed with me. He was like, "Yes, you are."
Yeah, all loving. Yeah.
And I was.
Yeah. So a voiceless voice told you you're ugly, and now you worship that voiceless voice.
That's right, Wild Heart.
Nothing could make more sense.
Wild Heart, you stop trying to like rationalize everything.
Came down and told you ugly.
Your whole life, and look where it's got you.
Yeah, a voiceless voice came down and said, "Listen, ugly, change your life, I'll burn you forever."
Yeah, he says, he didn't say he would burn me forever. God doesn't burn people forever.
No, that's not real.
God doesn't burn people forever. That's a misunderstanding.
Annihilate you. Lisa.
Yeah, he'll annihilate you, basically.
Yeah, listen, ugly, change your life, I'll wipe you off the face of the universe.
Sins.
Listen, ugly, a voiceless voice came down and said, "Listen, ugly, if you don't change your life, I'm gonna wipe you out of the universe," and you worship that being.
And they're because okay, I gotta answer this. Okay, I gotta answer this. Because for one, they're hungry and starving, looking for God, and then secondly, also because like there's demons running them, and so they try to get them to like provoke Christians and to like bring us down. Don't cast your pearls, Terry Berry. Line these hoes out. Dang.
Yeah. Anyone talking sense that's been controlled by demons. Yeah, so this voiceless voice came down. So this voiceless voice came down, called you ugly, and now you worship that being because he's a voiceless voice that called you ugly and tried to kill you and annihilate you if you didn't change your life.
He didn't say all that, Wild Heart. You're adding stuff.
What did he actually say then in his voiceless voice?
I told you what he said. How many times I gotta tell you?
In his voiceless voice, what did he say?
I said, I'm ugly. He said, yeah, you are. I'm not done with you yet. He said, we're gonna fix this. You ugly, but this.
What were you thinking ugly though when ugly was mentioned? Like, were you thinking physically ugly and you were just being female about it and you were saying, oh, that means spiritually ugly? Is that what you were really doing?
No,
because then we take the case that it was ego.
I saw my spirit. Because like my face looked fine. My face was pretty, but I saw my spirit.
No,
That's her.
Chase, pull her back up.
That's her. That's her.
Oh, dang. Oh, snap.
Let me see. I'll get another picture over here. And scroll through. Her
Chase
body.
got a new girlfriend to distract him.
I wouldn't call her old. I've actually known her for. Oh, that's another one, and there's another one.
She got big hair.
Yeah, she keeps her hair pretty nice.
Yeah.
And here's a picture of me, but when I was on steroids a couple of years ago, I looked pretty fucking good too.
Oh dang, you kind of look. Scary.
Yeah, I look really fucking good.
You look scary, Chase. I don't know. That's scary.
Nice.
Look normal.
Oh, there's.
You look like you're definitely on roids.
Those are nice.
I wasn't even doing that many, actually.
Yeah, I like your face. You have very nice face.
Some of my.
That's right. He found a new thought.
In there.
All thought.
I saw it. Yeah,
Hey,
I look pretty good. But yeah.
The flower says the Holy Spirit.
That's hard.
Calls out every human, but hardened hearts reject their own conviction, and that's where the combativeness comes from. Yeah, in your face, Wild Heart. You need to soften your heart.
I consider myself weak and through.
Wild Heart. Soften your heart.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you'll be able to hear it.
Oh, he called me an ugly faggot or whatever he said.
He didn't say say that. What the
Mhm.
heck?
I'm saying if he came down and called me an ugly father,
You're just adding things. I had this transformative experience, and that showed me myself, and you're just like, no.
Right, so if the same thing happened to me, say God came down and I said, listen, I think I'm ugly, and he says, yeah, you are, but you know, we can work on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worship that God.
Wild Heart, stop it. You don't know what you would do if you went through something like that.
Yeah, if someone came down and called me ugly, I'd say, fuck you.
Wild Heart, you don't know. I hope you do know. I
No, I
hope that
don't.
God works on
I
you,
mean,
Wild Heart, and that you
I would
soften.
use my free will. I would use my free will to say, listen, God, you're a spiritual being. You don't have a physical form. At least I'm ugly. You're less than ugly. You don't even exist physically. You know, I'm still better than you.
You would argue with God? Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet you would. I bet you would. Hey, look,
Listen,
though. Chase
listen.
Wild Heart complimented your body. It was faggish.
No, I said he had nice breasts. I said he had nice breasts, which he does. He did in that picture. He had very nice breasts.
More white babies.
Thanks, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Wild Heart, you are here for a reason. Minister to him, Argalunas. Although, you know what, guys? I do need to get off to bed. It is getting late, and I got work in the morning.
Cool, thank you, Tarek.
We could have hung out longer, but I just don't have it in me tonight.
And if your God gets in touch with you,
No.
And if your God gets in, sorry, was I interrupting you, sir?
Oh.
And if your God gets in touch with you in the future and calls you ugly, can you just say that I think he's wrong and he's an immoral monster for, you know, committing genocide and for rape and
Wild Heart, if you want to talk to God, you have to pray just like everybody else. I'm not doing your prayers for you.
I have done. He's got me blocked. I think he's never got back to me.
God is not got you blocked. God isn't like that.
Yeah, you just have prayed and never hear anything back. Never had a response.
Wild Heart, are you bitter about that?
If he exists, then I will be. I don't think he does, so I'm not. But if he exists and I continually pray to him and he doesn't give me any response, yeah.
God can only meet us as far as we're willing to meet him.
I reached out
to you as far as you're willing to meet him.
I reached out to him and he hasn't got back to me yet. It might happen in the future.
You know that? How do you know that?
Because he hasn't got back to me yet. I know when someone's communicating with me.
Wild Heart, you still got his breath in your lungs.
That's a bold ass claim, but I mean, you can demonstrate.
Yeah, it is. I'm bold like that. I'm bold like that because I got the power of Christ.
Yeah, again, that's a bold ass assertion, and you're fine to think that, but until you can demonstrate it, I have no reason to believe
I demonstrate it every time we interact, Wild Heart.
No,
Those
you
who
don't.
have eyes to see and ears to hear, though. I'm gonna pray for you, though. Hey, okay, we're gonna call it off. Thanks for joining, Chase. I'm sorry we couldn't be any longer Iron Man, but
I do this at the time, though. I don't know why. It's just
shouldn't be sleeping.
Sorry?
Yeah, we should go to sleep. We should all get a good night's sleep, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got about 3 hours left now. So
I don't know, man. When you drink like I do, you never get real sleep. So.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
But you can't. I know people that drink like that. They can't fall asleep without it either.
Sometimes. Sometimes, but that's why I like this shit right here. When I was telling you, this stuff, as gay as the name sounds, it is called passion flower extract, and it is fucking wonderful. You take a capsule. Yeah. You take a capsule full of this stuff right here. It smells like ass, but if you take a capsule full of this stuff right here every night before you go to sleep, you wake up feeling really good. I was surprised. So. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound homosexual at all. Passion flower. No, I'm being serious. No, it's actually from a passion flower. It's not homosexual.
Well, if you look it up, the name of it's kind of cool. If you're a Christian, if you look it up, the name's kind of cool because I think the Spaniards actually found it first, and they called it passion flower because it was like there's a cross in the actual flower.
Well, aphrodisiac.
Yeah, and they used it as for sleep and anxiety and shit like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's better than taking benzos and Tylenol.
Hey, Chase,
Yeah.
You're keeping Terry longer than she wants to be.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
could just kick you guys out. I'm gonna end it. But have a good night, everybody.
I'm sorry, Iron Man.
It's not your fault, Chase.
All right.
Hey, I'm just looking out for her.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Iron Man.
Thanks, Bye bye. I'm sorry again.
Night or day, wherever you're at. And bye, chat. Thanks for being here. Ciao.